What's up, guys? Untitled Studios here. I don't know why the camera looks as washed out as it does, probably because of this big light up here. But welcome to episode 35 of Vacuums Saved. And we got a good amount of vacuums here. And I have a lot of vacuums that I've been meaning to feature in the Vacuum Save series. Ones that I've gotten recently, but just haven't done a collective video on. But of course, some of these I've done separate videos on. Specifically, the Eureka Smartvac I've done a video on. The Bissell I've done a video on. I don't think I've done a video on much else here yet. But as far as a collective video, this is where these machines will be featured. There's still a few others that I need to do videos on, but I decided to narrow it down because the list was pretty long for machines I still need to do videos on. So I decided to narrow it down to Christmas colors, specifically red and green. But someone also noted that white is kind of a Christmas color, so I figured I'd throw in this Recar as well. Everything else that I haven't featured, I believe, if I remember correctly, is either black or blue. So you'll likely see that, or purple. So you'll see that in a future vacuum save video, along with a few new machines that I plan to get shortly after I film this one, which obviously won't show up until the next video. So as far as what we have here, we have a Hoover Wind Tunnel T-Series Purely Clean and a Eureka Smartvac. The reason why these are both on the ends is because both of these were acquired from my local vacuum store. These were actually given to me, and these are ones that I fixed up and that work perfectly, especially the Smartvac. The Hoover makes a bit of a buzzing noise from the brush roll, but other than that, it works perfectly. The Eureka has been absolutely perfect. I swapped some parts over with my other Eureka Smartvac since this one had some bad parts on it that the other vacuum didn't have, and vice versa. So I basically built one really good Smartvac out of two broken ones. And as far as the other machines, both of these two vacuums, this Dyson, this Recar, I actually bought from the aforementioned vacuum store, the one that's local to me, that is unfortunately going out of business very soon as the owner is retiring. I bought both of these machines. I believe I paid $100. I believe it was either $100 or $120 for both these machines. Maybe it was $140. I could be wrong about that. But I know that the original tags on these, this one was originally tagged at $80, and I know this one was originally tagged at $50. And I got a few different parts. Actually, did I buy any parts with these? I don't think I did. So I did get these on a discount because he has a 20% off discount, 22% off discount throughout the store. So one of those prices is probably more correct after taxes than the other. But so yeah, I got those. So that means 4 vacuums from the vacuum shop. And then I got this Bissell Cleanview off of Facebook Marketplace. And I got both, or I should say I got this Dirt Devil from my local Habitat for Humanity Restore. I got this Dirt Devil off of Facebook Marketplace, but this time locally. This one was shipped, this one was local. And this Dyson Dc25 I actually got off the side of the road. I was actually driving, or I should say my fiance was driving. And I noticed this because, you know, red Dyson, pretty hard to miss. I noticed this sitting on the side of the road, and I was like, ooh, Dyson. Scared the absolute crap out of him, and he was a little bit upset at the time because I kind of scared him while he was driving, which he doesn't like. I apologize for that, but I was like, I'm sorry, but Dyson, go grab it. And so he was able to turn around, and I was able to grab this and chuck it in the back of my trunk. So that's basically that. So we're going to go ahead and start off with this Hoover as far as running it, since this one's already plugged in, because I used this both to vacuum the living room just now and to clean up this particular Dirt Devil because the filters were nasty, and the filter on this Dyson Dc07. So, this is a Hoover Wind Tunnel T-Series Purely Clean. I actually have 2 of these right now, and the only difference between this one and the one that I already have is that this one has rubber-coated wheels and it has the folding handle. Other than that, it appears to be basically the same machine, and the handle, as you can hear, is a lot twistier. And the hose, I think, is a little bit longer. But other than that, it works perfectly. I've been trying to sell this one for quite a while now. I probably could stand to clean it up a little bit better because it's gotten a little bit dusty again. But this is one that I got for free from the vacuum store that was being thrown away. I believe the reason why it was thrown away was because it had a massive clog going all the way from the lower hose up through the main hose. And that and also the filter needed washed. The Hepa filter could also do to be replaced, but with how cheap I'm selling this for, I don't really know I'm going to bother replacing the Hepa filter. But the belt's good, the brush roll's good, the brush roll needed cleaned up, and after that, it's been pretty good. There's no tears in the cord or anything like that. You can see the brush roll right there. It probably has a little bit of hair on it now from when I just used it, but it's overall in good shape. This, of course, is a model with the clutch, so it didn't need a belt. And yeah, so as far as the filters, because I know a lot of people love seeing the filters on these, and my apologies for whenever I do forget to show the filters. This filter also isn't in the best condition, so I probably should change it. What I'll probably just do is, because I don't really feel like buying a new filter, I'll probably just take the filter from my other T-Series, where the filter is in better condition. I'll probably throw this away, take that filter, stick it in here, and then once I sell it, I'll just buy a new filter for the other one. Because that filter, I believe, is in really good shape. And if that one's in bad shape too, then I'll probably just buy these filters if they're cheap enough. But because it does have a little bit of a smell, so I'm sure replacing the filter would take care of that. As far as this filter in here, this one's not too bad if I remember correctly, but we're about to find out. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's a little bit dusty. I probably could wash out this Cyclone. In fact, it seems to me like the smell is actually coming from the Cyclone, so I actually am going to pull apart this Cyclone and wash it out. Definitely before I sell this, so that way whoever gets it doesn't have to deal with a bad smell. In the meantime, I've sucked up some of the scent beads in it, and I really am impressed with how good these Hoovers perform on carpets. Doesn't really surprise me, as these Hoovers are Carpet and Rug Institute certified. I believe these have a silver rating. Don't quote me on that. Either silver or bronze. Something to that effect. But I don't think these clean as well as my Amway Clear Track, but they are pretty close. Of course, this cord's getting in the way. And these are a lot harder on the carpet than the Clear Track is, but they do still perform well. They're not as hard on the carpet as some other machines. Like my Shark rotator is really hard on carpets. These aren't too bad, although obviously the clutch and all that, the way these heads are designed, they don't do the best on bare floors, but you can use these on bare floors since they have the clutch, and that's really nice. I am still on the hunt for the bagged version of this, the Tempo, or what is formerly known as the Tempo. Now it's just the T-Series bagged. They still sell them brand new. I tried to warranty out a few other Hoovers that I had that were busted, including one that is actually in warranty for sure because it was manufactured in 2020 and it has a 2-year warranty. But they were like, well, you don't have a receipt, so we're not going to help you. But we can give you 40% off. But they were like, oh, you can't do it on the Tempo because we have the Tempo on sale. Which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, I get why you don't want to stack the discounts, but you're telling me that if you put a machine on sale, I'm not even allowed to buy it, even if I ignore it and go based off the MSRP? That's really stupid. But I don't know, that's just what the rep told me. So, anyways, with that said, we're going to go ahead and turn on the brush roll, because I believe, yeah, now it's engaged. And squeaky handle, we're going to go ahead and give this a run. Of course, it has the power button up here, so that's nice. Working headlight. Actually, the brush is making kind of a funny noise, so I actually might have to put a new belt on this now that I think about it. But I'm pretty sure I have one in stock, so that shouldn't be too bad. So, I guess maybe if anything, me not selling this yet is probably good, because it means that now I'm kind of discovering some of the extra little issues that it has, that I'm sure someone who bought this would have had with it, like the smell in the belt. So, I think I might, even though I'm probably going to lose money on it, I kind of do want to rebuild this and replace a few of the parts. But I don't know. I don't really know if I would bother. I don't know I'm wondering what you guys would do if you got a vacuum like this. It was free, so any amount of money that I put into this is the only amount of money that I will put into this. So if I sell it for even $10 more, that's still a profit. Might be a small profit, and with gas prices right now, it might immediately be outdone by me simply driving to meet the person and give the vacuum to them at a Walmart, but hey. I do definitely like these machines. There are some design flaws with the bin assembly, but these don't have the design flaws that the newest Hoover that I just tried has, even though the build quality on this is much worse. But I do still like these, and I still do want to get the Tempo, the newest Tempo, that has a bag. And I think if I got that, I'd be very happy with that. And I've been putting off getting one of those for so long. I need to just do it. And of course, this is the model that has the quarter rewind as well, so that's always nice. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug this, and we will choose a vacuum next to plug in. Also, I forgot to show the sticker on the back of this Hoover. So there it is, UH70200 and E10A. So for a 12-year-old vacuum, it's still doing good. And there's that lovely folding handle, which honestly, the way that my closet is set up, this actually could be very useful if I was to daily this vacuum. But I got scared because I was like, what is that sound? Just my mailman. But I wonder if I got anything. Being an adult is absolutely awesome. I just checked the mail, and I got a bunch of bills. Isn't that super fun? Anyways, something that's more fun is this Dirt Devil MVP Swivel Glide. Now, the filters on the inside were completely caked with dirt, and the way that this machine is completely disgusting on the inside tells me that they ran this without a bag, especially considering the fact that there is no bag in it right now. I think I got this from... I know I got this from my local Habitat for Humanity restore. I don't know why I bought this, because I already have one of these. I have one in better condition, and I've already done a video on it. It's in a red color, and yeah, but I think this was like $10, so I figured, why not? I would have known the price, but the price tag just fell off of it, so I don't know. Oh, and it has that issue too, where the height release doesn't like to stay up. And considering how disgusting this is, and after I just vacuumed out the filters, I fully expect this thing to shoot out a cloud of dust, so I'm going to point it towards the office, so that way it doesn't shoot the dust here in the living room. But yeah, you can see right there, manufacturing code K001, so this appears to be from 2000, and it's certainly had a rough life. Light indicates clog. Oh, so there's a light back here. That's fancy. I don't think mine has that, even though mine's the fancier model with the stretch hose. Something this model does not have. It doesn't have... Let's see. There's the brush roll. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, the brush roll is completely locked up. Yep, that brush roll is... The bearings are completely locked up. I'm used to seeing that on a Bissell, not as much a Dirt Devil, although my Platinum Force Dirt Devil has failing bearings on the brush roll, which is why I haven't done a video on that in a while. I don't know if this is the correct extension one. It has like what appears to be a telescoping feature, and it has the crevice tool, but nothing else. So, I fully expect this thing to be shot. I don't know why I bought this. This thing's probably junk. But it obviously at least needs a new brush roll, or maybe this is a model with serviceable bearings, I can't remember. But either ways, let's turn it on and see how bad it sounds. It sounds like there's junk in the motor. So, I don't know if you could hear that. Headlight works. Oh, yeah, that's not good. I'm not going to run this anymore. But you can tell the motor did turn on. And so yeah, I need to strip this thing down to the motor and clean out whatever is rattling around inside the fan. But it does work. And I did check, there's no clogs in it. So it, in theory, would have suction. But this thing clearly is... Most consider would probably... or I should say, most would probably consider this to be beyond repair. But, you know what? One of these days, I will tear it down and see if I can't fix it. I don't know how well I'll be able to fix the pedal issue. But I know that if I can change the bearings on the brush roll, clean out the motor, clean up the rest of the machine, sure, it might have trouble standing up, but it should work. Keyword should. And the headlight works, so that's fun. Didn't expect that. That's always a pleasant surprise. So, yeah. For the amount of money I paid for it, probably not great, but it works. Kinda. Speaking of machines that don't work, this Bissell Cleanview Bagless Special Edition. One that's caused quite a kerfuffle in the comments on the original video that I did on this. A lot of people are very upset at me for even considering fixing this up, let alone purchasing it, let alone even entertaining the idea that Bissell still exists. But nevertheless, I do still want to add one of these original Cleanviews to my collection. Ideally, one of the blue models, like the 8975 or the 8990 models, or the whatever model, whatever, you know, one of the many models that is like a dark blue color with midnight blue accents and a blue darkened dirt container setup. That's the ideal Cleanview that I would like. And the same style, where it has the stretch hose with the square base. And so I got this off Facebook Marketplace. I paid about, I think it was like $35 for it. And, you know, with shipping and tax and all that, it's a good amount of money. So this thing, part of the reason why I got this is because, well, it's a Cleanview that I was wanting to get. It was said to be in very good condition. Was said to have been cleaned up and, you know, all that. And it came with the original dusting brush, which I have never seen one of these original Cleanview dusting brushes before. These are very hard to find. And now I understand why, because this is an awful dusting brush. And this really is a piece of crap. These bristles are very stiff, not good for dusting. You would think it looks like a nice soft dusting brush. It looks like a relatively standard dusting brush, but it's not. It's a piece of crap. But still, it's nice to have, because obviously the extension wand and crevice tool are interchangeable between other vacuums. So when I get the Cleanview that I want, I have that dusting brush to go with it. But you know, that was kind of the thing that put me over the edge and made me want to get this. But this thing is just really annoying, because when I got this, the motor, first off, the brush roll is seized, or it's at least somewhat seized. The bearings are going out on the brush roll. And whenever I went to try to solve the problem, I realized two things. Number one, this screw is entirely stripped out. I have not been able to get this screw out. I've already removed all the other screws and thrown them away because they're badly rusted, something that was not mentioned in the listing. This height adjustment wheel, as you can see, is snapped right off. That was not mentioned in the listing. The upper tank filter was missing. That was not mentioned in the listing, although that was messaged to me, because he did clean all this up, as you can see, and as an attempt to, you know, make it all clean. The Hepa filter was missing, so I stuck one of my Febreze Hepa filters in there. That wasn't shown in the listing. The when I remove the upper tank and all this, you can see, you know, that's all nice and clean and all, but if you can see, there's that broken piece that broke off during shipping. Not only was this top piece missing, so this gray piece wasn't even connected to the actual bin and had no way to be connected. This filter, like I mentioned, was missing. He did tell me that via message, though, and that I'm not going to give him crap for, because he told me that it was going to be missing. And the reason why is because he made an attempt to wash it out and the filters fell apart. So I'm not going to knock him for that filter being gone, because, you know, he made an effort. And, you know, that filter is kind of ruined, but he made an effort, and I appreciate that. So I didn't dock him for that or anything. But the fact that I had to buy this piece, the fact that I had to buy a replacement height adjustment wheel set, the fact that I had to buy a new brush roll because the bearings are seized, the fact that I can't even get the base plate off because the screw is stripped out and I have no way of removing that screw, at least not that I don't know of any way to remove that screw. The fact that I had to replace this filter, which this one he didn't mention. He mentioned this one, so that's fine, but that I had to replace this filter, replace the high adjustment wheels, replace the brush roll, replace this piece, and, as you'll soon see, replace the motor, because the motor has a bad burning smell coming from the motor. And it is from the motor, too. It comes out of the exhaust. It's not the brush roll. It's not the belt. The actual motor produces a lot of heat, and it makes a burning smell. So the carbon brushes appear to be beginning to catch on fire. So all of that for $35. I'm not impressed. And the thing is, I would have dealt with all of those issues if I could have got this base plate off. Because obviously, I had the filter. I was able to buy the filter on the upper tank filter and that black piece from Buster 1849 for only like, I think it was like $8 or $10. So that's not a big deal. I had a set of high adjustment wheels, or at least I thought I did. If not, I could find them. I had a brush roll. And so provided that screw wasn't stripped out and that this motor was good, then I would have been okay with that. Even putting in a lot more money than what a lot of people would have said would have been worth it, I still would have been willing to do that, because I've wanted to have one of these in good condition. Because this original style Bissell Cleanview is the first vacuum I ever worked on back in 2005. So there's a bit of a, you know, I don't know if nostalgia is the right word for it, because this is objectively not a great machine, but, you know, a bit of a, you know, just kind of wanting to add it to the collection for that reason. So this one's a 2004. It was made January 6, 2004. So it's a relatively, not early Bissell Cleanview, but it's not like one of the early 2002 ones, but it's one of the later ones. This was right around the time when they began to discontinue the original Cleanview in the favor of the Cleanview 2. And that's very obvious in this color, because this was replaced by the Cleanview 2 Special Edition, which you can find that machine on Buster 1849's channel. He has one of those, and, you know, so that it literally looks exactly the same, only it has the setup of the Cleanview 2 and it has a wide path base. So, yeah. So this thing is unfortunate. Because the guy wouldn't help me out, I opened up a claim with Facebook, because I honestly just wanted to get some sort of, you know, because I literally had no money at that point. And I wanted to get like a couple dollars off so I could buy the tool that would hopefully allow me to get the stripped screw out of the base. And Facebook, instead of doing that, or instead of opening a return, then they just gave me all my money back, which I didn't even ask for. But, you know, I kind of thought was going to happen, because that had happened the last time that I complained to Facebook. But I assumed that was just in that particular case. So the guy got very upset, because he then blamed me for the reason why his marketplace got shut down, even though his marketplace got shut down prior to me even receiving the vacuum. So, and he took a long time to ship as well, which normally isn't a big deal. You know, I have no problems with that. I've taken a long time to ship machines too in the past, but it's just another example as to why this was not the most pleasant transaction. And so in the end, I basically got this thing for free. You know, I basically spent $10 on it for those parts. and the machine isn't usable. But I'm probably going to trade this to Caleb, Buster 1849, for a, I forgot what it was called, but it's a Rubbermaid Bissell Cleanview power track. So, which I'm about to get another Rubbermaid from Brazvax, which is like it's like a SIBO knockoff. So I'll actually have two entirely different versions of the Rubbermaid machines. I'll have like a Bissell and a SIBO basically, so it'll be very fun to compare those two. So I am looking forward to that, even though even if I get that Cleanview power track, I still want to get the blue version of this, which I believe Brazvax and Waffle Plays both have, but not really budging on selling either of them, which I understand, that's fine. But hopefully if either of them decides to sell theirs, then, for a good price, then you might see one of those pop up on this channel. But until then, this lowly Cleanview is the only thing that I have, and it's not the best example, so we're going to go ahead and plug this in and show you how bad this poor thing sounds. At least it's in a pretty bright red Christmas color, but don't get it twisted, this is not going to sound like Christmas. This is going to sound very bad. Oh, there's that burning smell. So it has suction, but yeah, I'm pretty sure the carbons on this thing are screwed. I'm betting that if you replace the carbons on this and polish up the commutator, I'm pretty sure this motor will sound okay, because it sounds, other than the burning smell and other than you can clearly hear the carbons like vibrating and struggling, other than that, it sounds like a normal Bissell motor of the time. It doesn't sound like a chainsaw. The whole thing isn't vibrating. It's not screeching. If you remember that Cleanview 8975 that I had like two different versions of a long time ago, that one sounded really bad. The Cleanview power track that I had back in like 2018 sounded a lot worse than this, but it smelled a lot better, I'll tell you that. So I think I'm probably just going to end up giving this to Caleb, or maybe at some point, because I can remove these screws to pull the base off entirely, and maybe I'll see if I can't open this up to the motor and look at the motor and see what the motor looks like. But I'm not sure if I'm going to bother with that. It's something I might do, but I might just end up giving this to Caleb and trading for that power track Rubbermaid anyways, and just being done with it, because then he'll have the matching set of the special editions. Now, Bray, I think, also was offering me one of those Cleanview 2 special editions, which I think I'll try to get, because I don't have a Cleanview 2 right now, because I just sold mine. And I also have a Power Force Bagless Turbo 6596 for sale, as well as a few other machines for sale as well, if any of you guys are interested. But yeah, so that's that. Not in the best condition, but it can be saved. I just don't know if I'm going to go forward with the effort of trying to save it. I might just get something different. But nevertheless, that is what that is. Also, for the record, if I do sell this, I am keeping this brush since I don't have one of these. But whoever sells it will get the rest of the machines, filters, and all, exactly as you see it here. So, with that, let's move on to something a bit better. Alright, so we've got this Eureka Smartvac 4870. This is my second Smartvac that I've ever owned. This one I also got from the vacuum store. The issue with this was it needed a belt. The brush roll was completely worn out and seized. Not only were the bearings seized, but the actual bristles were completely worn down, and the hose was split right here. So I know some people have said, oh, well, you can just, shorten this hose, which I have done before on Sharks, but my other turquoise Smartvac, oh, and then also on this red one, the tube was kind of messed up. Or was it the tube? Something in here was messed up, I think. No. Actually, I think the tube was fine. I think I just replaced that as part of replacing the hose. Regardless, the turquoise one had a good hose on it, and it had a good belt and a good brush roll. So I just swapped those parts from the turquoise one. So the turquoise one now needs a belt, a brush roll, and a hose. But other than that, oh, and a switch. Needs a switch too, because that's why I stopped using it in the first place, was because the switch was bad on that turquoise one. The switch actually broke and the wires got messed up inside the switch mechanism. So the switch needs rewired and replaced. But other than that, that turquoise one is on the list to be repaired. If not, I'll probably sell it to Dylan Cleans or someone else who wants a Smartvac. So, yeah, because I do prefer the color of the turquoise one, but this red one is fine. And I also need to get a matching set of attachments for it, obviously, because these don't go to it. It's supposed to have the dual extension wands here, and then the dusting brush and upholstery tool from what looks to be an Excalibur, and then its own turbo brush, like a Power Paw or something, which I'm trying to find all those for it, and get some Hepa bags for it, because I have just the generic Great Value Walmart bags in here. Oh, and I replaced the Hepa filter as well. So that's all good. So this thing doesn't need hardly anything to be... It actually doesn't need anything to be fully functional. It is fully functional. And I guess I could, shorten the cord a little bit right there and move that up in it, so that way this isn't messed up. But other than that, it's pretty much perfect. So I am going to get some Hepa bags. In the meantime, I gave the other 2 bags in the pack to my mother-in-law because she has a blue one of these and she absolutely loves it. So I gave her those 2 bags. So that way she'd have some bags for hers. And eventually what I'll do is I'll buy that like 9-pack of Vac America Clean Hepa bags. And I'll probably give her 5 out of the pack and keep 4. Since obviously she's dailying her Smartvac, so it's going to need more bags than mine would, because I obviously switch between machines. So yeah, we will go ahead and I'll show you the brush roll. Of course it's upright, so this is spinning freely. But you can see brush roll's in good shape. And actually it is in the bare floor mode, because it does need a belt now that I think about it, because the belt, it slips a little bit. So actually I do need to replace the belt on this either way. But the belt that I had was good enough to at least get it working. So actually I do need to put a belt on this, and then it will be perfect. So that said, we're gonna, okay, it's on floor, and we're gonna go ahead and give this a run. I am just gonna, you know what, no, I will put it on the carpet mode so you can see how good this works. And yeah, that should be it. So yeah, I guess I should say the other issue is that, of course, just like the other one, the pedal isn't the best on this. It doesn't always like to snap. I think the spring in here might just be broke. But yeah, so not too bad, honestly. I think I paid... No, yeah, this is another one that I got for free. So, this, I think I paid, what, like $10 for the pack of bags, and everything else I reused from another machine that I bought ages ago. So, yeah, not too shabby. I just got to get some other attachments for it. Obviously, it has the original crevice tool, because that was the only attachment that it came with, and of course that one's also easy enough to find, because they still sell those on the Mighty Mites and whatnot. So, that's the Eureka 4870 Smartvac. And, yeah, open up the bag. See, there's a good amount of dust and stuff in here already. I did vacuum off that filter underneath there as well. And this filter door is always a pain to get off. So, maybe I won't be able to get that off. It's usually not this hard to get off. But, oh well. Just trust me, that's a new filter. But yeah, so, on to the next one. Got it. There you can see that filter looks fairly new. It looks new enough to me. Autofocus isn't working. But yeah. Hopefully, it looks really weird on my camera, the way that's moving around. Hopefully it doesn't look that weird in real life. But yeah, so, that's the Smartvac. On to the next one. Alright, next we have this Dirt Devil Vision Swivel Glide. Or at least, I think it's called the Swivel Glide, because it has the swivel casters. Oh, it's a Dirt Devil Vision. No, yeah, I read that right. Swivel Glide Vision. Power you can see. MVP. That rhymes. So, this machine is interesting because at the same Habitat for Humanity restore that I found the Swivel Glide that's in the coincidentally matching color as this, I found this, but I didn't get it. And you might be thinking, wait, but how is it here? Well, it was the same vacuum, but it wasn't the exact same one, and I know that because the one that the Habitat for Humanity restore had did not have this performance indicator, and it didn't have a functional handle release. It was broke much to the same fashion as the Swivel Glide that you just saw. So, this machine was acquired on Facebook Marketplace. Someone local was selling it because they had upgraded to a new machine. I believe they bought a Shark, because that's just what people with old Bagless Dirt Devils tend to do when they upgrade. They don't buy a new Dirt Devil, they buy a Shark. So, she bought a Shark. I believe it was an MB352. Yeah, I remember she did tell me. She said it was the purple lift away. And so she bought that and finally upgraded from this. Worked well for almost 20 years. And she was very happy to sell it to someone who was interested in it. And because she wanted to see it keep going. She just didn't need it anymore because she got something newer. I don't know if I'm going to say better, but she got something newer. And yeah, so I bought this for $20. Was very happy to find out that it came with most of the attachments, especially the edge wedge. So this thing is in good shape. So as far as all of that, it has the filter in the dust cup. You can tell it's a little bit full from when I used it and tested. Sucked up some of those scent beads in there. They probably have lost all their scent by now, because this was about, I want to say, 2 weeks ago. I also got another machine at the same time that I got this, but you'll see that in the next vacuum save video. So those of you who are aware of my Discord server already know which machine I'm talking about. It's one that I haven't had on the channel before, and a lot of people like them. But that is not in this video because it didn't fit the Christmas theme. So, even has a little sticker with a cute little robot guy, a little Lego Dirt Devil guy. So yeah, we can see bagless technology. You'll never buy another bag again. Patented swivel caster system creates the world's most maneuverable upright. 12 amp maximum vacuum power provides 50% more hose suction than conventional brands, and they specify that means direct air uprights, which I would say is fairly accurate. Hydro hose system extends 16 feet, the longest reach of all upright cleaners. I don't know if that's accurate because I'm pretty sure the Phantoms at the time had a longer reach. No, actually, now that I think about it, I think they had 10 feet of reach by default, and if you wanted to get, 17, 18, 19 feet, you would get the extension. So maybe that's what they mean. They mean without any extensions. They mean out of the box, which I'm sure sounds correct, at least until Dyson came on the market, where you got 17 feet of reach. Scuff guard bumper for increased furniture protection. Yeah, that checks out. So we have a Hepa filter right here. It clearly doesn't work because I'm already coughing and this machine's not even turned on yet. This reminds me a lot of a Phantom Fury, the way this is set up, and with all the paint marks and scratches. But none of these pleats are broken. And I can tell there's a lot of dust that's gone through the motor because there is a fine layer of dust on the inside of this, very similar to a Phantom. So, yeah. So this will need to be stripped down of the motor and cleaned, but that's after 20 years of use. And can you really blame the machine for only having a fine layer of dust on that's gone through the motor after 20 years? So here's the brush roll. Spins just fine. Bristles still stick out a little bit. Bearings seem fine. Probably a little. I'm pretty sure. I think she said she put a fresh belt on it. At the very least, if this feels like still a fresh belt, semi-fresh belt at least. I believe the headlight worked, but we'll see about that. So yeah, there is not much to complain about. I was gonna pass up on this, but then I posted it in one of the vacuum Discord servers, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, you need to try it. You would love the Vision. It's so cool." And I'm like, okay. So I'm just like, okay, sure, okay, fine. And then when she told me that it had the attachments, that's when I decided, okay. Now, I think there's supposed to be an attachment that goes here, and obviously it's missing the extension wand, and this is missing the brush piece that slides onto it. But it has the crevice tool, it has an upholstery tool, and it has the edge wedge. So, a little loose, but it has the edge wedge, which it's very fun to say edge wedge, which obviously we've seen Bissell release a tool that's very similar to this as of late. That came with the Power Groom bagless. But yeah, so with that said, let's go ahead and give this a run. If I can push this dang button. It's also not too loud for a Dirt Devil. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's loud, but it's not... For a Dirt Devil, it's not too loud. Is it quieter than a Phantom Fury or a Hoover Wind Tunnel of the same age? No. But is it more maneuverable with the swivel casters than a what did I just say? Than a Hoover Wind Tunnel or a Phantom Fury of that era? Also no. Does it filter better than a Hoover Wind Tunnel or Phantom Fury of that era? Also no. Is it lighter? Also no. Okay, so maybe I don't really know why I have this, but it's certainly interesting nonetheless. And the fact that this is the one with the performance indicator, I think makes it very cool. But at the same time, after using this and the Swivel Glide, I should get my other red Swivel Glide over here to the new house and see how well it copes on this carpet. Maybe these swivel casters just need a bit of work, and maybe once I work on them and grease them up, maybe they'll glide along the carpet very nicely. But the swivel casters really just seem to kind of fall apart on anything above a very low pile carpet, and it doesn't really. This thing still feels heavier to push on the equivalent setting than the aforementioned two machines that I have used numerous times on this carpet, the Wind Tunnel and the Fury. So I don't know. But I believe this would have been a lot cheaper than a Wind Tunnel or Fury back in the day. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Because I think the wind tunnels at the time were like $249. The Fury was like $229, I want to say. I don't know how much these were back then. In like, 98, 99, 2000. But if someone wants to correct me on that, then by all means, go ahead. But is it interesting and something that I'm happy to add to the collection? Absolutely. So, very happy about that. Great shape for the $20 that I paid for it. I'm very happy with it. Is it a potential to be a daily driver? No, absolutely not. But it's interesting nonetheless. And I have heard a lot of people say, oh, every vacuum collector needs a Vision in their collection. Granted, I technically already had two in my collection, although those are later Visions. But and one of which, the Swivel Glide Vision I have that replaced this, the blue model, I am still looking to sell, by the way. So that'll be interesting to check out, but once I work on that. But either way, this is still pretty interesting. So with that said, on to the next one. All right, next we have a Recar Superlight. Oh, I forgot to show the sticker on the Dirt Devil, didn't I? Oh, there's the sticker. Yep, this one's also 2000. You can see the big difference in terms of when they were treated right. Where's the sticker? I don't see the sticker on the Eureka. Whatever. So, this is the Recar Superlight. Got this for $50 at my local vacuum store. Actually, it's probably cheaper than that since he had a sale going on. It says right here, to place foot to release handle. Doesn't seem to do anything. But anyways, this lightweight deep cleaning machine is the first Recar to ever come into the collection. So you can see it's a very basic model. It's just got a basic power switch, basic straight handle, no sort of comfort grip or fingertip controls or anything like that. It's a very long handle. It's kind of obnoxiously long for a machine this small. But yeah, basically Recar's direct air answer to the Oryx, and that's about it. That's pretty much the only notable thing to say about it is it's Recar's version of an Oryx. And if we open up the bag here, you can see the double R. There's the Recar genuine bag. Pretty self-explanatory. I will, of course, eventually upgrade this with Hepa bags, just like everything else. So, yeah. I wonder if there's any date information on the bottom. There is. Flip this around. Of course, it's a direct air machine, so there's a bunch of dust being off-cast right there. Let's see. Recar RSL1A, made in the USA with globally outsourced components. Look at that. I wonder if this is the one of the ones that was made in Missouri. Hard plastic wheels, no rubber coating at all, so this is not designed for any sort of bare floors. One of these clips on the hood is broken, but that's not a big deal to me. It still holds just fine. There's the brush roll. Belt is obviously just fine. Still holds good enough tension. You can see the air path right there. Not much edge cleaning on this side. Probably plenty on this side. Obviously, these aren't really designed for edge cleaning. This appears to be a toolless brush roll cover. That's kind of neat. But yeah, we can see, of course, a bunch of debris kicked up in this corner like they always are on these. Polycarbonate. 5.5 amps. Serial number 0810. I wonder if that means 2008. Maybe someone more familiar with these can correct me on that. Maybe that means October of 2008, or maybe it means August of 2010. Could be either or. My bet is 2008. That's my guess. But yeah, so just your basic lightweight upright, no tools, no bypass motor, nothing like that. Just basic vacuum. But in theory, well-performing vacuum, as Recars are generally regarded as being very good deep cleaners. I do want to get a Recar R25, one of the lightweight newer Recars, because I did try that at a local dealer. Not too local, but local enough. But anyways, let's give this a run. It's going to be very loud. It is direct air after all, so not looking forward to that, but oh well. It's actually not that bad. It's actually not that bad. I'm talking normally, and, you know, I don't know if you can still hear me or not, but it's not the loudest thing in the world. It's actually a lot quieter than I remembered it being. Of course, you can hear everything going into the fan. I don't want to suck up the cord in one of these. So, whenever it's obviously off the carpet, it's really loud, and when it's on a low pile carpet, where there isn't very much sound dampening from the bottom, it's very loud. But when you're using it on a plusher pile carpet like this, you can see the groom lines it leaves is really nice. It's certainly a nice machine. And generally nowadays, well, first off, because my XL21 has an issue where the back spine, like where the fan housing is kind of like warped, so it blows a lot of dust out of there. So in practice, making it filter worse than a Dyson or anything else like that. So I don't use my XL Platinum anymore. And of course, it makes the same buzzing sound that a lot of Oryx do because of the ingest bars that I still need to fix. But this thing doesn't have that problem. It cleans. I don't know if it cleans better than the XL Platinum. I would guess that it does. It just feels, the brush roll just feels more substantial, and it feels like it's kind of gripping the carpet a lot better. So I would guess that this probably cleans better than either of my two Oryx. But, you know, obviously you don't have any hard floor performance, but I don't use an Oryx on hard floors anyways. I have a separate stick vac that I use on hard floors, or I'll use, if I am going to use an upright on hard floors, I'll use a upright that actually works good on hard floors, namely a Dyson, or not even that, usually just a Shark Duo Clean like my Apexes. Those are pretty much the only uprights that do an actual good job on bare floors. And so this machine does really well, but I don't know why I keep saying but, as if there's like some other like negative. There really isn't. This thing does, it does a good job. It's a little loud, but it does a good job. And for the price that I paid for it, is this thing worth 40, 50 bucks? Absolutely. I've been kicking myself for not grabbing this thing because it was sitting in the window at my local vacuum store for a long, long time. And somehow nobody bought it. People paid more for a lot of the Oryx that he had. You know, Oryx Classics, Oryx, Elevate Command and Conquer and whatever that turquoise Oryx is with the really skinny headlights and the same handle as the newer Oryx. It's like a turquoise baby blue color. I forgot what that Oryx was called, but he sold a couple of those. People who bought those over this when those were more expensive, probably just because they recognized the Oryx brand more, and they instinctively trusted it more than whatever a no-name Recar is to these people, because Recar is just not really a no-name, is not really a well-known brand. Obviously, simplicity is kind of off in its own way. I don't even know how all that's going down, but I know my local vacuum store did have a Carpet Pro that was identical to those white Simplicities, like the last bag Simplicity they had that looks like a normal vacuum, not like one of these department or vacuum store special ones. It was like a yellow Carpet Pro, but that one's sold. Otherwise, I would have grabbed that. But yeah, so this Superlight, very happy with it. Very happy to have it. It has kind of made me want to get more Recar stuff, but nothing too heavy. I do actually have a Recar Vibrance, I think it is, a blue one that's sitting in my basement. It's in pieces. It's missing the handle, bottom plate, brush roll, I think, brush roll. It's definitely missing a cord and a bunch of other stuff. It needs a good amount of parts. But one of these days I will try to fix that up and to get that running, because that would be really cool to have one of those that's fully working. But yeah, so that's the Recar Superlight. This vacuum save video is already almost an hour, but the only thing we got left is these two Dysons. So we'll go ahead and get into it, and we'll first do the other Dyson that I bought alongside this Recar, and then finally the Dc25. Alright, next we have the other vacuum that I got at the same time I got the Recar Superlight. This one retailed for $79.99. I got this for, don't remember, but less than that. And this is a Dyson Dc07 low reach. Came with all the attachments, and it even came with a brand new matching floor tool, but I don't have that because that's upstairs right now. But it came with a brand new matching floor tool. And so yeah. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait, you already have a Dc07, and you already have a Dc07 low reach at that, so why would you buy this? Well, because my Dc07 low reach is in kind of poor condition. It's not bad, but it's not as nice as this. So I figured I would buy this, and this would be the Dc07 that's in my collection, and then the other low reach Dc07 that I have would be the one that I actually use for whenever I want to use a Dc07. Meaning that that one's going to be a one that I'm going to bother to put a new clutch in and all that. This I'm not going to bother. Now, the one thing I am going to do is I am going to swap the Cyclones, because obviously this is the better Cyclone to actually use because it has the grip guard that prevents these from breaking, unlike my other 07 low reach, which is ironic because this 07 is older than my other 07 low reach. The other one is actually a low reach. This is just an early one that says Hepa Back to Safe Plus Floor Tool, and it actually has the auto height adjustment called out. I don't know if you could hear my knee cracking. Getting old. Anyways, so this one's in really good shape. A couple paint marks that could be due to be cleaned off, but other than that, like the purple plastic isn't broken. It's not cracked anywhere. It does feel a bit brittle, admittedly, and that's the reason why I don't want to use this one. The other one feels a lot sturdier. Filter's good in it. I did replace the filter because the filter that was in this was pretty dirty, and I did just go ahead and exchange that. This one has obviously I can't show the Hepa filter because that's a process to get off, and I don't want to break those tabs, but this has a new filter in it. Not a genuine Dyson, but it'll get the job done. And so yeah, basically I plan on swapping the Cyclone on this with my other 07 low reach, and then cleaning up this Cyclone, cleaning up the rest of the other machine, and then actually using that. And also this has, I don't know if you can hear that, it's a bit loose on there. This C-clip is a little loose. But other than that, it's in really good shape. So we can see it's got the old style U-bend with a big thing that sticks out. And yeah, so it's got a good wand, good handle, good hose. All three of these standard onboard attachments. This handle feels like it's really low quality. I don't know if this is an aftermarket replacement or what, but it feels kind of low quality. So another reason why I don't want to use this one. But if we turn this up on its back, we can see it's got a new brush roll in it. Presumably a new clutch. Obviously these Dyson brush rolls tangle instantly, so just from the little bit that I've used it, it's gotten some hair on it. But it's not too bad. The bottom plate's kind of scratched up. I might swap that out. Of course, in traditional Dyson fashion, this part is always scuffed to heck. But we can see this one says August, or that's not August, that's the 8th week of 2004. So it's a very early DC07. I don't know if you can see the serial number right there. I do have this registered on my Dyson account. It is under warranty. You can see the blurry quotes right there. Under warranty. It's definitely not under warranty, but it says it's under warranty because Dyson's website is screwed up. And yeah, so is this going to be a daily driver? No. Is it going to be added to my collection? Absolutely. So that's definitely very fun. And for the price that I paid for it, I'm happy to have it. So yeah, that's pretty much that. So I do plan on fixing up my other 07 low reach, and I do have a DC07 all floors as well, but that will be sold to Dylan Cleans because he's been wanting an 07 all floors. So that's going to him as well as possibly this turquoise Smartvac. And so Ben, the only other DC07 that I still want to get is the DC07 Carpet, which is the turquoise DC07 from Walmart that doesn't have the clutch. It's the only US DC07 that doesn't have a clutch. So I want to get a clutchless DC07, both to test to see how much better it does than the clutched model, and also just out of curiosity, because, you know, it's something you don't see every day. And certainly something that no one on YouTube has ever done a video of. So that'd be really cool to see. Anyways, let's give this machine a run. So in traditional DC07 fashion, the otherwise relatively quiet Dyson, with only the mild motor whine, is overshadowed by the wording of the Cyclones. And of course, it's even worse on the older Cyclone packs, since the ends cut off further up, so those are a bit louder. And who knows, maybe these might even cut off at first, because who knows, maybe it's entirely possible this is the same Cyclone pack that it's always had, but the top piece might have just been replaced, since maybe it did have the one without the guard and maybe it snapped off. I don't know. But the only way I would really be able to find out is if I open up the top of it, which I do have a torque security bit now, and I will eventually break into these Cyclones and see if these have already been cleaned out or if it's something I'll have to do. But there is no odor or anything coming from the Cyclones, so it's probably not necessary either way. It has plenty of suction. I can tell that there's no restriction of airflow, well, beyond the normal Cyclones, and it should be good. So, yeah, this, for some reason, is hard to push on my carpet. I don't know why that is, because the 14 is perfectly fine. I don't know if the large debris channel in the cleaner head makes up for that, and that makes it so much easier to push. But it was a little hard on the wrist to actually push and pull for whatever reason. Definitely one of the hardest Dysons to push alongside the Kinetic. So, yeah, in fact, I would say this is actually harder to push than the Kinetic on this carpet. So that's a bit odd. But nevertheless, we'll move on to the final Dyson. One thing that's funny about this is that unlike the DC07, the DC25's plug actually faces the correct way. So that's a bit funny. And the Daredevil Vision also has a reversed plug. Yet the Swivel Glide doesn't, even though they both came out of the same year. So that's a bit funny. So yeah, Dyson Dc25. This is one... I've never owned a DC25 before. I've never worked on a DC25 before. I've never even seen a DC25 in person, other than one that popped up at this vacuum store once, and it was sold before I had the chance to buy it, and it was just an all floors, or a multi-floor, whichever one. This one is a red color. I assume it's a Target color, or perhaps it could have been an HSN or a QVC edition. Not sure about that, but it did say retailer exclusive edition whenever I registered it on my Dyson web account. But yeah, and then just like every other Dyson I've got, this one's under warranty when it's really not. But this one I found on the side of the road, and the only thing that was wrong with it is it wasn't getting any suction to the tools. And the reason why is because when you pulled up the wand, this valve wasn't closing. And as you can see, it still kind of isn't. But this valve was completely staying open. Now it's just partially staying open. Still an improvement, but not perfect. So this valve would completely stay open. Now it's, halfway there. So as a result, it wasn't getting any suction to the tools. So they assumed it had no suction. And the other issue is it makes like a whistling noise, which I'm pretty sure is just the Hepa filter. It was really dirty, and the brush roll makes a bit of a sound. Now, it appears they cleaned off the brush roll, because I did not clean the brush roll. This is pretty much how it came, although I did clean up the cleaner head. This side holds in just fine, but the end cap, as you can see, is very loose, and so the end cap is snapped off on one side of it, and as a result the brush roll is kind of going like thump 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 inside of it, and it's not really staying even. It's moving around a lot. There's a lot of play in the brush roller on this side, and that's causing it to buzz a little bit. It still works, but I'm not going to use it too much until I replace the brush roller and the end cap. I'm not sure if the brush roll really needs it. I know the end cap does, and I might as well just replace the brush roll as well. But and then I am going to replace well, first off, the pre-filter washed out very well. I did wash out the Cyclones as well, and I washed both of these gaskets because these gaskets were pretty dirty, and I washed out the hose and the wand. This filter was a little bit dirty, but it wasn't too bad. It washed up very well. You can see there's a couple dark spots in it, but it washed up very well. I'm not going to bother replacing that. HEPA filter is a little, it's not perfect. If I pull this down, pull this off, a lot of dust did go through the motor, but you can see that's pretty bad. And this seal is a little collapsed, so it'll make a bit of a whistling sound, which a lot of these vacuums have that problem. Replacing the filter should do the trick. I've also heard some people say to just mess with the gasket, but obviously I'll need to replace the filter anyway, so hopefully the new filter doesn't have that problem. But yeah, you can see this whole screen thing is not doing too well. So I did wash this, and it is a lot better than it was, but still needs to be changed. So I'm trying to remember what the other problem was. I honestly don't remember. There wasn't any clogs in it, to my knowledge. So I think the biggest problem as to why it was thrown out was the valve not closing for the wand. At first I thought it was the actual changeover valve, and I was like, oh no. But then I just found out that that little valve that's supposed to close when you remove the wand is just getting stuck. And it's a lot better than it was, but it's still not perfect. I cleaned this up a little bit. Now it squeaks a lot. At least it did when I moved it on the carpet upstairs. But so that's something I'll have to fix. But it doesn't affect the vacuum's ability to work. And of course these wheels don't like to go around. Actually did come with both the attachments, but the connectors, especially on this, are very worn out. You can see how much this jiggles. So it does have both the attachments, but they not very tight on the body, but still not horrible. But yeah, so basically just thrown out because it was really dirty, needed a clean, and it needs an end cap and the valve fixed. So, which the valve is pretty much fixing itself, and obviously I can just kind of push it up with my foot whenever I go to use the wand, so it's not a big deal to me. I'm probably just going to leave it. But yeah, so that's pretty much that. We'll give it a short run. Obviously the brush roll is making a bit of a noise. I don't really want to strip out the motor or anything and have to replace the whole cleaner head. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, there's that noise. So you can hear the sounds that it's making is not super healthy sounding, but if I remember correctly, I did remove the HEPA filter and that got rid of those sounds. So yeah, I will do another video on this, of course, since I've never owned a 25, fixing it up and getting it all perfect. Maybe outside of that valve. Of course, this side is badly chewed up. They probably had a dog or something. But if you can see, this hose is pretty badly worn. I'm not sure if I'm going to bother changing this. It is pretty bad. But given the fact that I so far have $0 put into this machine, and this is technically functional, you know, I could use this if I absolutely had to. It'd probably destroy the cleaner head if I didn't replace the cap, but, you know, am I glad that I picked this up? Absolutely. So, still, DC25, first ever DC25, and I can see why people like the 25 so much, but I can also see why people hate the 25 so much. So, definitely mixed there. But yeah, so this is Intelitech Studios with episode 35, I believe, of Vacuum Saved. Bunch of vacuums. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Merry Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah. I don't even know when those are. I don't do much as far as holiday celebrations, although I am. I guess I shouldn't say that, because as soon as I do this video, I am leaving to visit some family in Florida, so that's going to be fun. And driving from Illinois to Florida, that sounds like a sure swell time. Driving over 2 days across 4 different states, I'm sure that's swell. Anyways, this is Intelitech Studios signing out. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope y'all have a good one. Peace.